Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Journey with Janine. I'm so happy to be here with you today. If you're new here, welcome. Glad to have you. Here we talk about all things mindset, harnessing your own magic, and living your best life. And if you have been here before, welcome back. So glad to have you. What I want to discuss today is healing. This word has become a new buzzword all around social media and in the wellness sector and the medical sector. Healing. What a powerful big word, right? What is healing for you? It looks different to everybody. Some people may just believe that it's a physical healing, broken bone, fixed it, healed, all better. There's a lot of spiritual essence of healing as well as mental and emotional and all types of things. But the biggest thing that I want to tackle today is whether your healing process is helping you or hurting you, because it can actually do both. So when you think about your personal journey, your self-care journey, how you're feeling, like what is the fruit that you're bearing from it? Because that's really what we got to look at here, right? We don't just want to be on this forever self-care journey to try and cuddle and comfort and soothe all these aspects of us that actually don't empower us to then live more. The essence of healing is to embody more. We heal things that are broken. If you have a broken arm, broken leg, broken bone anywhere, the purpose of it is to give it rest, to give it nurturing, to give it support, so that then it is able to be as powerful, if not more powerful, than it was prior, because of the resources and modalities and support that you had for it. The same thing goes with our own personal healing, the healing of our heart and our soul and our mind. Whether you've come from, a difficult background, or you're navigating through a difficult situation, the purpose of healing is to soothe, to comfort, to restore, to evoke powerful action following. So I kind of want to go over some of the basic fruits of healing and what that can look like for you. And these also follow the energetic timelines of the chakra system, or even if you look at like positive psychology, and Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Just a quick overview of the chakra system, which comes from like a yogic science, Ayurveda, Eastern medicine. That's going to cover basically these different energy bodies that you have. Your oneness with yourself. Who are you? Are you comfortable being who you are? Do you feel creative? Do you feel connected? Do you feel powerful? Are you able to act? Are you able to express yourself and have an open heart? Can you give and receive love? Are you able to speak your truth and also identify truth? Is that pathway open? Are you able to vision? Are you able to dream and see and forecast what's to come? And what is your connection with higher source? What is your spirituality path? Do you have a connection? Do you have a faith? Do you have belief in something that's greater, bigger than you? And can you receive the light from that? So that's just a baseline of what the chakra system encompasses and the energy kind of that it exhibits. So when you think about healing in those modalities, let's start off with your oneness, who you are. When you think about who you are, who you've been, who you're becoming, what is your relationship with that? Do you feel like when you look at yourself, if you were to step outside of yourself, do you feel like you're exhibiting the fullness of your capacity? Are you living in your dream? Do you do something that you love? Do you feel like you're honored for what you do? Are you celebrated by the people around you because there's authenticity and there's vitality there? Are you okay being by yourself? Sometimes solitude makes people really uncomfortable, and that can, of course, highlight an area that there needs to be healing. So those are just some questions that you can ask and assess of yourself to see, one, is the healing working for that component of your life? And if there needs to be some work done there to support that. Another thing I want to talk about with healing is that healing doesn't always look like a spa day or a nice walk or a massage. Healing also sometimes looks like hard action. It looks like doing things that are uncomfortable. It looks like putting yourself in areas that are unfamiliar and exposing yourself to new experience. There's a modality that's used in psychology that's exposure therapy, and essentially it's a lot of times used with like veterans or people who have experienced trauma. It's a very structured exposure to something that maybe is a fear if they have a phobia of something. The same thing can happen in conquering anything in your life, whether it's creating new relationships, whether it's spending time by yourself, whether it's, conquering a fear that you've had with travel or whatever it is, going to school. These are all things that can utilize exposure therapy, small structured fragments of exposure to the thing that is creating internal conflict or turmoil, so that you can then overcome that and you can heal that obstacle within you. So those are just a couple of things that you can ask yourself, work on, journal on, do all the things and stuff. There's some other practices that we'll talk about later, but I just want to get you to be able to assess where you are with your healing journey and if what you're doing is working for that energy center. So the next one would be your creativity, right? And connection. How do you feel in both social situations? What is your relationship with sensuality? I know that can be a really big one. There can be wounds there. You know, if you've been in toxic relationships or you've been conditioned to believe a certain way about sensuality, it does not align with where you are now as an adult. Those are all things that may need to be reworked and assessed and healed so that then you can cultivate a fruitful experience with that aspect of yourself. So we've got community. How do you connect? How do you, just are you liberated in the community that you're in? How are you existing in your creative space? So creativity, I know that a lot of times people are like, oh, like I draw or I paint or, those types of things. Yes, that's creativity too. But problem solving is creativity. Analytics is creativity. Having a versatile perspective on how you navigate obstacles and problems and you overcome things, that is all creativity because you're utilizing different faculties of your mind to create something that wasn't there before. So regardless if you're more left-brained or right-brained, you can use creativity for your best self, and you can use that to assess where you are in that energy center of your creativity. So with your solar plexus or your power energy center, what is that action like? With this energy center, it's about what we're doing. It's so easy to be all about, oh, well, this is what I want, or this is my dream, or this is what I want to do in 10 years. But what actionable steps, what rooms are you stepping into? What people are you surrounding yourself with? What bold action are you leaning into that's going to propel that forward? That's going to nurture those seeds of possibility for yourself. That's leaning on faith and the inner power that you have within you to cultivate the future that you want. A lot of times we go into analysis paralysis. Analysis paralysis is common in so many people, and especially with the constant flow of information, it can be problematic in that we're so infiltrated with information that then we just feel overwhelmed and we have no action. And that's not what we want. So sometimes, yes, it's great to have the research and to have an idea of what's going on and where it came from and all of this kind of stuff. But there's also power in intuition. The internet wasn't always here, but our ancestors were able to navigate life and understand the stars and understand science and music and connection and family in really beautiful ways in some cultures. And they did it without the internet, So trust yourself, trust that inner power, trust your inner intuition, get connected with yourself so that you can lean on the utilities and faculties that you have internally and really step into the action, step into the power that you have. An activity that I want you to do is I want you to think about this week and we're literally more than halfway with the year, right? So we're 2023 is almost over. Where are you at with who you were cultivating in this year? How have you nourished that essence of your future self? What powerful actions are you proud of? What areas do you still have some shadow that you want to work on? What aspects of yourself are you ready and needing to elevate so that you can be proud of yourself? What areas still need to be healed because there's trauma bonds or there's, obstacles that you have internally that just haven't been dealt with appropriately or they need more time? Think about those things and begin to feed yourself with that this week. Make one goal this week that can support powerful action towards that self that you want to be by the end of the year. So the heart energy center, one of my favorites. How we give and receive. This is so powerful because a lot of times there's blockages in our goals and who we're trying to become because we're either giving too much, we're not receiving enough, we're receiving too much, and we're not giving enough. So creating this really fluid cycle here is important to keep things in flow. We need that flow of giving and receiving because otherwise there's just imbalance, and imbalance creates chaos in our environment. So when you think about your relationships, when you think about your work, when you think about your talents and your gifts and your relationship with yourself, what is your current relationship with giving and receiving? Think about that for a second. Are you a person who's like always trying to outdo everybody and like show up for everybody and do everything, but then you're not doing that for yourself? Are you working out? Are you eating right? Are you drinking that water? Are you taking your vitamins? Like, are you doing the things that are nurturing your essence? Your body is a tool. If your tool is not highly functional, you can't live the life that you're supposed to live. Having inefficiencies in the body in which we live in, it can create obstacles or slowdowns in us living in the full purpose and path in which we're supposed to be existing in. So taking care of yourself, finding a good relationship with being able to give and receive, those are all fruits that are born out of cultivating a happy, healthy, healing relationship with that heart energy center. Also take a look at your relationships. I think it's great that when you're at a job, right, you usually do a yearly evaluation. Not to say we're trying to have cancel culture and cut everybody off. We don't need to cut sling off of everybody. Some relationships just morph and become different. But assess your community. Who is continuing to elevate you and maybe who is deflating you? Have conversations. Be honest. Be transparent, which is a great segue to that next energy center. Use your voice. Speak your truth and know truth. Being able to have, again, that give and receive in both that energy center of the heart and the voice is really important, because energy, again, our body is like this big emotional SD card. So when we hold things in our muscles, in our brain, and our body, it can create stress, it can create tension, our bodies get tight, our joints hurt, like all of these other things occur. So being able to share what is truth for you, to also be open to elevating the truth in which you're experiencing, and then being able to receive what truth is for other people and filter it as needed so that it aligns with your peace, your goodness, all the things. Do you feel inspired to speak your truth? The people that you surround yourself with, the environment in which you occupy, the way that you talk to yourself, is that a community of positive and powerful conversation? Just looking at the internal dialogue in which you have, how is that expressing itself in your outer world? These are all great things that are beneficial to reflect on and just take a look at, so you can really see where growth is happening for you, what growth is necessary for you to continue and create these focused pockets of action and restoration and healing, so that you're not hindering yourself, but you're helping yourself move forward. The next energy center that we'll talk about is our vision, our intuition, third eye chakra, like all of the good things, all the magic, right? Do you dream? Do you have vision? Do you have a vision for your life? What is your ability to trust your instincts, like that sixth sense that you have? How many times do you hear a little voice in your head that says, hey, you need to do X, Y, and Z? And then you're like, oh no, like whatever, I'm not gonna. And then later, you're kicking yourself in the butt because you didn't follow that intuition, that instinct. So what is your relationship? How are you sharpening that skill? Are you listening to that inner wisdom, that inner payment that you have to help guide you and support your highest level of consciousness to live in your best self? Work on that. A couple of really great ways that you can do that. Meditation, whether it's walking or stillness meditation, breath work is great. Cleaning up your diet. When our body is clogged, when we have a lot of toxins, if we have parasites, all those things, they draw out the resources for us to live in the fullness of our brain, of our higher self. So making sure that your vessel, your body is clean is really gonna help that aspect of you flourish. And the last energy center, our crown chakra, our crown and jewel. So this one is really precious, and it's with everyone having so many different walks of life and pathways, understanding that this is about your specific pathway, no judgment, no criticism, like you got to know what's good for you. So figuring out whatever spiritual, religious path is good, understanding what that looks like for you, and being able to have a healthy relationship, a healthy community internally and externally with that. Because having faith in something bigger can be helpful for you, but if that's not how you navigate too, and you focus on nature and all the good stuff, then awesome. With the crown chakra specifically, it's really about just being able to tune in to the resources outside of yourself. Like, it's a heightened level of intuition, essentially, where we're tapping into higher level of consciousness of the oneness that surrounds us all, that we're all connected energetically. Some really great ways that you can help heal, restore, revive your crown chakra is to, again, eat clean, to sit in stillness, to surround yourself in nature. Being around water is really good for this as well. Being just in nature, around mountains like Mother Earth, all of these things help activate that, and they ground us down to inspire us to live louder from the core of our essence, from the spirit. Prayer and meditation are also really, really powerful for this energy center as well. So identifying what type of relationship, what type of routine you'd like to have with prayer and meditation. If you have a busy schedule, which I know so many people do, starting with just 2 minutes. 2 minutes, that's all you need, just 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Start with 2 minutes, set a timer. Do it first thing before you swipe on your phone, before you go do whatever you gotta do in the morning. Just start with 2 minutes. I know you have 2 minutes. There's no way you can argue with me that you don't have 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes. So find the 2 minutes, whether it's first thing in the morning, middle of the day, or evening. Take your 2 minutes, sit and center yourself. Center yourself with that higher power that's connected internally, that inspires you to keep going when the going gets tough, that gives you inspiration when the world around you is chaos. You gotta reconnect with that. You would never, again, go and not charge your phone ever. Like, you need your phone because you need to stay connected. The same thing goes with your spirit. Your spirit needs to be connected to something. So find what pathway works for you, live into that, tune into that, and let it shine. So those are the basic energy centers, and just kind of some things that you can see and assess to notice what's going on with your personal relationship with them, and then to identify if this is something that you're currently healing, if that healing is helping you or it's hindering you. Because the biggest thing is we don't want a bunch of inaction. What we do appreciate is when we have healing, stillness, and action that is inspired by that conscious awareness and that pause. When we're able to have divinely aligned action, everything works out in our favor. Like, it literally works out in our favor. It could look bleak in the beginning, but it always works out because we're connected, we're in tune, and it's like everything just, the seas part and everything just works out. You can have that, but you gotta get focused. You gotta utilize your resources, open up your toolbox, figure out what works for you, and lean into it. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that supports you. Go ahead and like, subscribe. Let me know what you're currently working on in your healing journey. You can also let me know if you've had an experience with the healing journey not being helpful for you and how you're overcoming that. Or if you have questions about how you can overcome difficulties in your healing journey, I'd be happy to support you. Sending you so much love, light, and joy. Bye, friends.